Sup, welcome everyone once and again to another commentary video. We are gonna cover this friendly match, not a global league or tournament, between these two amazing people. Lepsis Magna with Sammy and Chesney with Olaf. One of them is one of my viewers and has requested this match to be covered. The story behind it is basically they are playing with their friend and they are running out of advices to give them, so we are gonna try to help them a little bit with that. With that being said, both players have not played any global league whatsoever. They are the one that has requested this match, according to them, has played Advance Wars through many years, but not competitively as intense as someone in Global League have done. The matchup is quite an interesting one. Normally you don't see Sammy, no, not this one, Sammy in tier 2. I mean, you could see it, but not a decent one. Sammy is hard to use, especially as a new player. The reason for that is that you have to do some things that are not as obvious. For example, you have to threaten, in a standard we are talking, you have to threaten properties with your own infantry that is stronger than the enemy. You have to wipe enemy infantry with your own infantry. You have to have the stronger capture phase. You have the transport plus wave movement to help you with that. And you have to, when you wipe the enemy infantry with your infantry, you make up for the easier first strikes into the enemy vehicles, and it's quite not as easy. But Sammy has also the normal indirects. That's good for her, especially on this map. I will say why later. And Olaf is just a very simple, straightforward CO, no handicaps, no bonuses, immune to snow, and if you click the button you make snow and you make enemy units injured. So that's it for Olaf. The map, it almost feels like a base mix map at first glance. It's not quite like that, but you might think of it like it. There is no middle. I mean, yes, but no, there is middle. What I mean with a middle is that there is this awkwardly revert lap thingy blocking the maneuver between the properties in the center of the action, but you will struggle a little bit going through shifting your front. Artillery is one of the few maps where it's stronger than tanks, and I'm not saying that. Voice of Akasha, also known as Hellraider, one of the greatest, if not the greatest player in Advance Wars, has said that in one of the of their streams. I could send the link into the bot in the description. Don't worry guys, if you want to check it out by yourselves. There is one com tower per front. It's not a contested or even contestable com tower, I would say it. And there is this front right here. It's very choky and easy to defend once it's set up. You can try to deny this property as green or this one as blue, but it's normally, apart from trying to deny this city or maybe capture, you don't see any more action. If your opponent doesn't acknowledge your forces into this area, you can try to push for the base lock, but it's quite hard to do so. I wouldn't recommend to overdo because you will lose pressure into the middle where there is a lot of properties. And yeah, as you can see, the middle has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 contestable properties. There is a different meaning in contested and contestable properties. Contested properties is when they are already contested, and contestable is one you maybe want to contest, but you don't have to if you don't want. That's a thing that Voice of Akasha mentions in the bot. So I think that's it for the introduction. Let's just straight jump to the match. So as I said, both players are fairly new, but one of them is maybe slightly stronger. I'm not gonna be very picky on the capture phase unless there is a very big mistake, like a base skip for recon or something crazy. Let's see. There is a recon, day 3 by Sammy. I guess trying to pressure the one base with your two base. I don't hate that. I think it's a very good idea to be super aggressive in your strong side. And this infantry right here will able to get the chain cap into the middle. Very beautiful. The recon is going into the center, seems like, not into the one base. I think that's quite a strong recon because it will be on time to interrupt this city unless there is a tank from this base immediately. But Olaf cannot afford to wheel a tank unless he base skips triple. Well, double. There is 3 bases on this map. For some reason I thought there was 4. But the recon, yeah, Olaf had enough for a tank. I was looking at the wrong number, don't mind me guys. Wheels a tank, but he wheeled it from the 1 base instead of from the 2 base. I think it's fine. The problem with that is that you want to follow the recon. And if this recon goes this way, you are gonna bring the tank into this area as well, and that will leave this area with 1 less unit. And if you don't acknowledge the enemy forces, you are gonna have problems. Also, I think this infantry from here should have gone into this mountain and then capture this immediately. Instead, you went with his infantry to capture this city. Yeah, and you could have done that. You can have go here with this infantry, and the result would have been much better. But that's just a detail. You interrupt the cap. I think this is completely the right choice. And I wonder how is Olaf gonna play it out, because Olaf has the weaker capture phase, that's for sure. Even though Olaf has stronger tanks, Sammy has the same indirects but much stronger infantry and capture points. And you have to remember that artillery is better on this map than tanks, because of the nature of chokiness in this map. As you can see, this infantry would have been already capturing this city, so that would be minus 2k of fans for the Sammy. That's gonna be an issue, because next turn you won't be able to afford double tank, or maybe... And wait, what is going on here? You base skip for a mech. The will of a tank here is unjustified because there is nothing for the tank. Like, if you want to wheel a tank to deal with infantry, use wheel a recon, but you already have one. And what is this tank gonna do? Go into the center? I guess that's fair, but why don't you wield it from this base? Wheel an infantry here to hold and wall, and yeah, don't wheel a mech. Don't wheel a mech. At least if that mech was in response of someone trying to be aggressive into your base, that's fair. But look, I think Olaf is gonna have the presence in this middle, and this is gonna be in danger, basically. You sack the recon for the infantry, even though there's an artillery. I think it's fair to do, because now you deny this city, and you will be able to further deny it. I don't know if I would like to play super aggressive here. At least I don't mind if you do that, if you after getting the control of this city stop doing. Like now Olaf has to retreat. Like he can I mean, okay, fair, doesn't kill the recon. But as you can see, this recon was, you don't want to stay in range of the recon from a tank if you are not covering that recon with a tank. That's a big mistake, because now this recon is completely useless. You don't want to repair that recon. It's gonna be 800 and it's gonna take so long till it's able to do something against infantry, and you lost all your pressure in this run. So just stay out one less style of movement, and you will have been completely safe. I understand that you have to help this infantry as well, but you cannot do everything. You have to choose, you know. Anyways, at least this turn the Samuel player doesn't base skip, and somehow gets this city. You don't need to cover it with this infantry, but this infantry is gonna be able to attack the infantry on the city if it doesn't get cover. Wait. This infantry doesn't start this city capture. I don't like that, because yes, you want to get to this city, because now it's, I understand why you are doing this, because you want to bring it here, but you want to, you already denied the income from your opponent. So now if you capture this, you don't care if you capture this city or this city. You need to capture something. So you are behind on income as Sami. So, and you repair the recon and you stay with the infantry here. You should have retreated with both infantries and try to cover them with this infantry and whatever you will from this base. And even more if you plan to wheel a medium tank. If you plan to wheel a medium tank, move these units into the range of the medium tank, and now anything that hits those units is gonna hit back. That's very important. That's, if you played any chess, that's a basic concept. It's basically cover your units with your other units, so if they get attacked, you will be able to answer that attack. If you don't answer that attack or are prepared to answer it, your opponent is simply gonna eat free dudes, as we said in the community. I don't agree with this. I mean, you can stay with the recon, that's fair, but these two tanks should go into this area and start to basically get all the 4 or 5 properties, because the price for winning here is 4, 5, maybe 6 properties for Sami, and the price for Sami to win here is just 1 property that you already have denied. So what's the point of staying here with the tanks? That's another big mistake that new players, or maybe not even new players, not as good players do. It's overcommitting to something. If you already achieve what you can feasibly do, why keep committing to it? Just retreat and go somewhere else, because you already have done all you can do here. Your opponent is building, has 2 tanks, has an artillery, is building infantry. They are gonna wall and you are not gonna be able to break through, even more as Sami, because you have the weaker tanks. I would probably try to get a city like a city that is not supposed to be yours, like for example one of these. But if your opponent has only one tank in range, you're gonna be able to keep capping the next turn and you won't be interrupted, and then with an artillery you can interrupt any captures into that city, for example, or if you really want to be very aggressive. But yeah, instead you remember the infantry that didn't need to block this infantry. Now it's a free hit. You don't want to allow free hits on your units, because it was not like this infantry was doing something vital. It was just staying there for the sake of being farther into enemy's territory. But you could have been here and you still threaten this infantry the very next turn. So you don't need to go deeper than you have to. And Chesney builds a mech. I don't think I agree with the mech. Okay, so this is a mistake. Probably this was played live or semi-live. That's why there is these kinds of mistakes. Maybe Sami player was trying to go there. Notice that there was 4 spaces instead of 3 away, and yeah, that's a fair mistake, I guess, if that's the case. And okay, your opponent used Willa at mech, and this mech is covering the artillery and this infantry, and you just sack your own tank to hit one infantry. That's super bad. Like, if your opponent is wielding mechs, which might be a good idea or not, but especially on a standard, they have only 2 movement, and there is no way. I mean, wielding an APC here would have been super trolly, but if they have a transport copter, maybe they can, I don't know, put the transport copter here and then straight to the middle or something. But this mech is gonna take ages to do something, and this mech right here is not gonna do anything. And in order to arrive into the middle, it's gonna take like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 turns to do something. Like, just ignore the mech and place an artillery here, and if it really wants to go through this area, it will get shot down by artillery fire. So I think, yeah, you know what I mean, guys. Okay, the medium tank is trying to answer these both tanks into the middle. I like it. You interrupt the cap with your tank, covered by your medium tank. I think that's completely fair. I don't like the fact that both players are not going for the airport. Excuse me. I understand that the, how you call it, the airports are quite far apart from the capture thingy, but the problem is that you need copters. Copters are especially strong on a standard, because on Fog you don't know if there is an anti-air in range, a copter in range, a fighter in range, a missile in range. But in a standard, if there is no how you call it, an anti-air unit that can deal with the copter in one shot, your copters are great wallers. Like, if you put a copter in place of an infantry, that copter is not dying unless there is an anti-air. Even if there is a copter in range, if you have an answer for the enemy copter attacking your copter, you are gonna kill that copter back, and you just hold a wall, because unless you are facing max, copters on copters one-shots are not possible. You need a very high firepower to one-shot a copter with a copter. Like, I don't know if base damage copter to copter is 75, so you need plus 25. That's 40 firepower in order to be guaranteed. 30 it's a roll. So Max can do that with luck on day-to-day basics, and can do that always if there is a power activated. I see that Chesney is building a lot of artillery. I agree with that move in this particular map. Normally you don't want to wheel too many artilleries, but there are many good placement for artillery, especially if your opponent has no copters yet. These shoals for artillery are amazing. Like, and even if the enemy has copters, if you have an anti-air prepared to answer the copter, the base is so near that you can simply let your opponent sack the copter for an artillery. It's gonna be efficient value-wise for you. This tank is raining free, as you can see, without a proper answer. And this was a Mech's infantry, most likely. There was no way that your opponent was allowing that. Even if you are Sami, you are not getting that. If there is, I mean, if there is only one tank or one infantry in range, you can cheese the capture. And but even in that case, you are sacking one unit count, which unit count is one of the most important metrics in Advanced Wars by Web. And also there is another mech by Chesney in the weak side. I don't like it at all. Like, I understand as Sami building one mech here and put it on the mountains or something. That's very threatening, especially with double time or victory march. You can one-shot tanks with your mech if they are on light terrain, but okay, what are those infantries doing? There is 2 tanks and artillery in range, and also 1 infantry. This tank can simply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. This tank can go here, attack, and then with the infantry, and then this tank, and then this artillery covers, and there is no backup for those infantries. Like, I mean, you can move this tank here. There is 2 tanks, but still, you can move your medium tank into the middle and just protect this area with the base tank. You don't need to move. And there is a rocket by Sami. I think that rocket is fair. Like, you can cover a lot of spaces very quickly if you go into the middle, but something tells me that it's gonna try to go into this area. Sami is over focusing too much into this front, and I don't quite agree with it. There is another mech by Chesney. Okay, 2 mechs, whatever. 3 mechs, overkill. There is no argument to win more than 2 mechs. Like, yes, your opponent is bringing quite a few tanks, but they are Sami tanks, so they are not gonna be able to wall break your infantry walls. Just wheel infantry, put your artillery behind, and that's gonna hold. Like, you don't need to worry about it. And there is a Neo tank by Chesney. I like the wheel. Neo tanks are a very good unit, even more than medium tanks. The problem that they have is their one hit KO ranges with the firepower are a bit awkward, unless you are someone as Max, where with such a huge firepower bonus to your direct units, it doesn't matter as much. But Neo tanks, counting for defense, they do clean one hit KOs, and there are no overkills. So I would recommend to wheel Neo tanks. Even though they are 8k more expensive, they make up for the cost, because also you have to keep in mind that Neo tanks have better defense stats, and they have 1+ movement, and that 1+ movement is a lot, guys. Like, medium tanks move as fast as artillery. That's very bad, and this rocket is not quite in range to move away this artillery. Yeah, but This tells me that you want to go into this area with the rocket instead of this area, which I don't like. And you are very aggressive positioning your tanks in range of enemy tanks, and there is a Neo tank on its way, so this Neo tank will be placed here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this medium tank will be covering all of these plus the artillery. So yeah, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This you can 2-hit KO this tank here, interrupt this capture, cover the tanks with your artillery, and you are just letting your opponent hit you, and that's no bueno, amigo. No bueno. I'm saying no bueno, amigo, with English accent instead of Spanish one. But please, Chesney, don't build another mech from that base. Please, don't do it. I'm watching you. Right now, I'm watching you. Please, don't do that. Okay, you move around, you go back, you don't want to be aggressive. I don't agree with that, but it's fine. It's not terrible play. You are bringing your Neo tank to answer the medium tank. I think you could have just answered it with an infantry wall and an artillery, but I guess it's fine. But you will another mech. Chesney, please stop building mechs. Like, listen, look at me. Look me in the eyes. Don't build more mechs. Repeat with me, please. Because there is no reason. There is, like, what are these mechs gonna do against this rocket? Like, this bomber is a nice wheel because of the terrain being so mountainous and sea tiles here, river. It's gonna be very flexible, but a mech, just wheel an infantry, save up money for maybe in the next turn tank. Like, look, this is 12 fans that could have been infantry, and those 12 fans could have been an additional copter and additional tank instead of an infantry somewhere else. Like, they are sitting doing nothing, look at the enemy army. Like, please. Okay, please don't. There is a Neo tank, and you have a medium tank, and you don't have backup for that medium tank. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The base is not even in range of this city. You need to retreat. You need to get the fuck out of there. There is a Neo tank coming at you. You need to respect the range of the Neo tank and try to wheel an artillery and try to get your airport to get copters, because even if they are weaker copters, they are gonna be good enough to deal with a Neo tank. Because if the enemy has no anti-air, your copter is gonna win the 1v1 against a Neo tank. And maybe not if it's on a friendly city, but it's gonna be very efficient on fans for you. Like, okay, please, you have the fans for it. You have to wheel an anti-air here. Okay, I know that the terrain is so choky that the anti-air is gonna struggle to follow the bomber, but you don't need to follow the bomber. You just need to have enough movement to cover at least some of your units, if you cannot all your units. It could be great if it was all your units, but I guess you don't want to wheel an anti-air. You will have time still the very next turn, but for example, this infantry here is gonna be free meat for the bomber. And yeah, you kill something with it, but still, this infantry would have been free meat for the bomber as well. So you have to be very careful. You have to respect enemy ranges. And you will another medium tank in response of the Neo tank. I think it's fair, but it's very expensive compared to what you could have done. You could have retreat with this, wheel an infantry wall, wheel an artillery, and you could have been perfectly fine, at least for the nearby future. And you try to pressure here, which will bring units from here to here, so indirectly will help you to hold in this run. But anyways, the bomber pickups a free unit. You would rather one-shot this one than injuring this one, the Neo tank attacks the medium tank, and it's gonna make you pay a lot of repairs for a medium tank that is gonna be rather useless against what is pushing against you now. This front is looking terrible for Lepsis Magna right now. At least Lepsis Magna has the Victory March near. Maybe they are gonna be able to take away some cities from the enemy. At least I would say this city, but the problem is that Sami is behind on income as Sami against Olaf, and there has not been any Winter Fury yet, so it's very strange to me why you let that happen. But imagine if you have willed an anti-air here. This bomber would have attacked this infantry on the mountain and not even kill it, so it would have been much better, because losing units is very bad. You want to avoid that. I agree with this move. Infantry for mechs, completely justified for a sack. What I don't agree with is these tanks going forward, because you don't have an anti-air prepared to cover them, so you're gonna struggle. You really need an anti-air, and it's gonna be late. Please will an anti-air. Double time in the middle of the turn. What? Okay, I think that make no sense to me. And okay. So I think you use panic on this turn, and you will another medium tank in response of this Neo tank. But at least you don't have to worry about this Neo tank. Just bring 3 infantries, put them right here, put an artillery behind, and maybe a mech here, and that's it. Your enemy cannot push into this area, because also there is no airport nearby, so you don't have to worry about being attacked from here. And if infantries come here trying to threaten yours, those infantries are infantries that are not in the middle walling enemy vehicles, so you will be winning this fight with your vehicles. So you don't have to do overkill, because going for double base skip because of the medium tank, which is not a good response against a Neo tank, for 2 reasons. Medium tanks are very bad against Neo tanks, and also you are Sami with direct combat. You have to respect that. And also you just place your tank in range of the mech, not even the bomber. Like, that's just straight up terrible. And look, if you right now, please, Chesney, listen, put this artillery here, it's game over for Sami. Why? Because this Neo tank cannot be attacked first strike by this medium tank unless it goes into the range of the artillery fire. It cannot. It can try to one-shot this tank. It can try to one-shot this. It can. I don't know if Sami can do that with one com tower. I think it's it's a range. I don't quite remember, but yeah. If you do that, you will basically be eating this base the very next turn. Don't try to base lock the enemy this turn, or wall your Neo tank with your artillery. That's not gonna work. I like that you are retreating here, seeing this threat, because you are pushing here, you retreat here, so you don't lose too much here, but you do damage here. That's smart. That's what you are supposed to do. I think I agree with this movement. I don't know if you should put this infantry just right here. You could place it one behind, so it's not in range of this infantry, so it doesn't get injured, so you can try to capture easier next turn. And I could honestly park the bomber into the base. You have a free base lock. Like your opponent commit a huge mistake, but you instead go for the one shot here, which is a huge opportunity lost. Also the rocket, yeah, you should have put it because of the rocket as well. And another double time by Sammy. I understand that you don't like using Victory March too much, in the sense that double time is gonna be more easy to spam, but it's not that strong of a power. It's just 20% firepower for infantry units and 1 extra movement, and that's it, and 10% boost, global boost. And it's like spamming the CO power as Eagle because you want the 10% boost. Like, it might work, but you have such an amazing power that you would rather use that. Like, you would rather get Victory March into stealing 3-4 properties and use that income to tech up, and your enemy cannot tech up, and you have a Neo tank or a bomber against, you know what I mean. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are instances where double time can be very useful. You cannot overlook the threat that it can make, but I don't think it's a good idea. I completely disagree with this attack here. Your opponent is in range of the base, he has the artillery in place, he has already 2 tanks prepared to... This is completely doomed. This was very sad that you didn't see the artillery placement, but it is what it is. Look at now at Winter Fury dealing a lot of damage. Normally you could say that Olaf deals 20% of damage of the enemy army, but it actually deals more, because if you think in a match where both players are fighting, there are gonna be injured units, and those injured units, for example, could be at 9, 8, 7, 6 HP. 2 HP for them is much more than 20%, and that means that you are on average dealing more than 20%. So Olaf power is stronger than you might think. Also, the snow is very valuable to deny counterattacks. It also slows air units, which is an amazing tool to protect against copters, especially on this map where they are quite strong, and bombers. I don't like the fact that any of the players has will any copters, because this map is, as I said a million times, very strong for artillery, and if a map is very strong for artillery, it's very strong for copters, because copters are a natural counter to artillery. They are good when the terrain is so abrupt, and they are good to help with to hit chaos from mountains. So yeah, they are a natural counter to artillery. I understand why you don't like to wheel them as Sammy, but they are so amazing that you should have considered them. But I understand why you resign as Sammy here, like after a Winter Fury and losing everywhere. You are losing here, you are getting overrun here. If you are starting to lose everywhere, you have no way to back up the game. Like in Folk, you can give the benefit of the doubt, because it's harder to convert a lead into a victory, and you don't have all the intel of the map. But in the standard, it's so hard to throw a lead, and yeah, you can see clearly that you are completely getting whack. The player, you might already guess, who is slightly more experienced, is Chesney, who has requested this review. Thanks to Chesney for for offering us this match. My general advice for newer players, if they want to get a taste of Advance Wars by web, is to simply don't get scared of Global League. Join Global League. I mean, after knowing the very basics, like how do I move units, what is this, is this a city, is this an airport, this is a HQ, etc. After knowing the very basics, I could just encourage you to join Global League and ask how this map I got matched into works, etc. You can also, if you really don't want to join Global League, it's fine. You can try to ask players in the Discord to play friendly matches, sync or synchronize. Like what I mean is at the same time, taking your time, but live. Or maybe you take a turn, and maybe in 1 hour when the other is available, one turn, and the match will take for few days. But anyways, thank you for watching. As always, give me feedback on the commentary, super welcome. And if you have any suggestions, leave it on the comments or DM me. You are don't be afraid, I don't bite. And yeah, thank you for watching. Bye guys, bye bye.